cold and flu season heading right for us as the holidays approach. ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darien Sutton joins us now with What to Watch. Dr. Darien, good morning. Great to see you as always. So we're getting an update now on cold and flu season from the CDC. What's the latest?
So we're following these numbers. We're following wastewater analysis, emergency room visits. Overall, thankfully, numbers remain low. We're seeing subtle increases in states like Wisconsin, Ohio, Kentucky, and Connecticut. And by increases, I mean respiratory illnesses, patients coming in with cough, sinus pressure, and flu-like symptoms. As for RSV, we're also seeing subtle increases in the South and Southeast among kids. This is just a good reminder right now that while we have numbers that are low, to go out and get your vaccines updated, especially as we march into the holiday period when we'll be seeing family members who are more vulnerable, older and younger, to better protect them.
Okay, so two questions here. Is it too late to get a flu vaccine?
Yeah.
And how effective, do we know how effective this current one is for this flu?
So every flu vaccine is matched up with what is most expected during the flu season. And as far as effectiveness, they're about 60 to 70% effectiveness at the best. And that's what we would typically expect. As for is it too late? Absolutely not. Right now, numbers are still low, so it's a great time to go out and get that vaccine. Vaccines take about 2 weeks to become fully effective, which is why I think if you get it now, you're prepared for Thanksgiving.
Okay, so that's good to know. I have a question because we want to talk about what the FDA is saying about cold medicines, but also lots of parts of the country have seen these switches in weather where it's been really warm and then it gets cooler. Is there a real impact in that? Do you see people getting more sick?
And that's the old saying, right? Our parents, our grandparents are like, don't get out in the cold, that'll increase your risk. And there is some truth to that. When you're outside in the cold, your respiratory lining is not protected as well, which makes you more susceptible to infection. And so it's not necessarily that the cold brings the illness, but it brings the risk. So as for your second question, for phenylephrine, which is what we're talking about, the changes in cold and congestion medication in the over-the-counter aisle, this comes after an FDA proposal to remove that active ingredient in this cough medicine. This comes after a lot of review and evidence and data that looks at all the current data, and it found that it simply wasn't effective. So this is a proposal. We'll have to wait for a process, but it begs the reminder that I always talk to patients about. Be mindful of your money when you're walking into those over-the-counter aisles. A lot of those products can look really hopeful and helpful, but they don't change your outcome.
It's still everywhere, by the way.
It is.
You walk into a drugstore, it's still in all of these products.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not safe.
Yeah.
It's just
this is not a question of safety, but I think going back to the tried and tested measures, cold compresses, steam inhalation, nasal irrigation, or neti pots, these are the basic things that can help with your congestion that'll probably prove you better than what's in the over-the-counter aisle.
Important conversation that obviously you guys had questions about. Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Sutton.